Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us for this Zoom press conference with USA Basketball Women's National Team head coach Cheryl Reeve, also, of course, of the Minnesota Lynx. Cheryl is going to get us started today by giving some opening comments on camp and our road to the World Cup. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, it was, as I told the group, it was an exciting time to kind of get together and take the next step. You know, we had our time together in February, and then this was like our next step in the process. And thought that, you know, the energy, as it always is when we're here with USA Basketball, was through the roof. We were pretty persistent in trying to establish an identity for the group that's here and how we want to play. So that was, I would say, it was probably a pretty intense day one. You know, we got up and down quite a bit, and so I thought it was pretty productive.
All right, Jack, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
Hey, Cheryl, good to see you.
Jack.
I know we've talked in February. You've gotten a chance to lead these players before in a mini camp, but can you just describe the feeling for you personally, knowing that, you know, official competition is right around the corner and this is the real thing with you leading?
Yeah, it like you said, this is it, right? We're taking these steps, and obviously we're missing, you know, there are 4 teams, you know, that are still competing, and you know, so we don't have the full collection, and we may not until we're over, you know, in Sydney and already started competition. But I think more than anything, you know, taking those next steps to say, okay, you know, in terms of looking at potential for the roster, you know, we're pretty open, you know, players are competing for spots. So with that, also kind of going, what team do we need to be, you know, as we hit Sydney? You know, we'll have a couple of, you know, scrimmages and that sort of thing that will be good for us. But you know, being able to not have a lot of competition together, doing some little things really, really well. And that's what our goal is. We've got a great staff here. You know, we want to be a team that plays with some really good pace. You know, I think every coach will sit here and tell you that. It's one of the most annoying things coaches do. But I think, you know, making sure that our players understand what that means. It's not a sometimes sort of thing. So that, and then I think defensively, you know, being a team that's going to be aggressive and give different looks. That we did that in February, and I thought we were pretty good there. So continuing to build that.
And then just one quick follow-up. Since last we spoke, I don't know how we left off, but do you have any expectation of whether Fee is going to be joining you in camp or in Sydney at all?
Yeah, Fee is not. Fee has removed herself from consideration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackie, go ahead.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, Jackie.
Thanks for this. So just first to expand upon that idea of the identity when it comes to offensively, what you sort of want to look like and what you want to be known for.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think we're going to have the physical abilities. We're going to have the point guard play to be able to play early in an offense, right? That's what everybody wants to do. That's what everyone strives to do. I think we'll have the physical abilities to do that. We're certainly going to have the persistency in our practice preparation to move in that direction. If there's, you know, somebody that's better at it than another, you know, great, you know, that we try to bring that out even more. We also have some bigs that really run the floor. I want to make sure that we're rebounding first and then, you know, being able to then, you know, get out and go and see if you can't play ahead in the possession. You know, that's a priority for every team. I'm not saying anything that wouldn't be true for any other teams that we would play against. We all prioritize the same thing. I do think, as we talked with the players about being able to play a full roster of players, having the depth, capitalize on what I think is one of our strengths for the USA, and you know, the pace that you want to play with, the simplicity, I think, is probably the biggest thing, because when you don't have a lot of time, it can't be complicated. You know, we talk about, like, hey, hunt your go-to. If everybody hunts their go-to, because I'm also big on efficiency. I want to make sure that you're not playing with pace and you're slinging it around, turning it over, or you're jacking up bad shots. That's not the intention there. So, you know, it's the balance of, you know, getting ahead in the possession and see if you can't get paint touches and can't get it, you know, side to side and be able to get quality shots. But again, that's, you know, as you're watching the games, you know, tonight, you'll be finding the same thing from those teams.
I appreciate that. Also, there was a press release a week ago that said that Google and ESPN was going to be partnering with FIBA to make sure a bunch of the World Cup games were going to be televised in the US. I'm curious what you made of that move and that announcement, and if it's maybe more of a coincidence that both Google and ESPN, they're partners of the WNBA. So it's this whole idea of that you have FIBA, which is not part of the WNBA, with the same partners. I mean, does that point toward a synergy between FIBA and the W?
I think you do see that. I think, FIBA probably certainly sees some momentum around the product and capitalizing on those that have been interested and providing the ability to watch it. So it makes sense to me. Also, the Australian League have also announced that they would be, having much greater coverage. They've signed a partnership deal as well. So it all makes sense to me.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Hayden.
Hey, Cheryl, Hayden Stilley with the Next. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, Hayden.
I wanted to ask you about one of the newcomers to training camp in Diamond to Shields. And I know you brought up playing with pace and with just how she plays, zipping up and down the floor on both sides. Just what have you seen from her so far?
Yeah, we've actually had Diamond in other competitions that I was a part of. And so I actually have gotten to see Diamond on this level, not just playing against her in the WNBA. And that is the conversation that we have when you have a player like Diamond. You have a chance to race down the floor at a pace and get an easy shot. She provides you that opportunity. Diamond has grown. I think about being with Diamond a few years ago and then now, being a veteran, and it certainly, that was a player that I thought today put herself in really good positions to do the things that we talk about. So great candidate for that pace and getting out and going and using her athleticism.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Rafiq, go ahead.
This is Rafiq with Nothing But That Sports Talk. How you doing, Cheryl Reeve?
Hi, Rafiq. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, you about to have Angel McCoughtry play for USA, and I understand she hasn't played the entire season since she got cut from the Minnesota League. So, how is she adjusted to the whole practice of USA women's basketball?
Well, Angel, much to our pleasure, Angel's is in good shape and looks good. And so whatever she's been doing since her time in Minnesota has been really beneficial to her. So I was pleasantly surprised that she wanted to join and participate and try to be a member of the World Cup team. And then, it was a player that frankly was able to do a lot more today than she was able to do in any of our practices. So there's been a natural evolution a little bit further from her injury. I'm sure that has something to do with it. And then she's been working. So, good for her.
And is there any possibility that you will see her in a WNBA roster in the near future?
I certainly can't speak to that. I don't know. It's always a possibility, I guess.
Appreciate the insight. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Alex?
Hi, Cheryl. Alex Simon from the San Jose Mercury News. When you look at especially the first slate of games, you might, first game against Belgium, I guess, how difficult is it to prepare for a team where, their fate's kind of tied to the WNBA as to who you might be seeing from that team in that regard?
Yeah, I think that's where you get into a lot of this. For a lot of the teams, you're really locked in on what you do. You're going to have your schemes, and it's going to be which of the schemes are you going to utilize, against the team. Certainly Belgium, needing their WNBA players. They're highly skilled. We played them in February. So the Belgium, Puerto Rico kind of, the first two games for us, it's basically a repeat of what we did in February. So I think we've got, a good understanding of what their identity is and what they want to do under the new coach. And then I think, it's not unlike the WNBA, especially as we've gone through COVID. It could be someone right before the game isn't available, and it's just something I think these players are used to doing. But probably by and large, making sure that you're playing to your identity more than you're worried about them.
And then I'm out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it seems possible that the Bay Area could get a WNBA expansion team. For you as a GM in the league, how much time do you feel you guys would need in preparation for an expansion draft? Do you need to know a full offseason ahead or even 2 off seasons ahead to maybe shape your roster to be prepared for the expansion draft?
Yeah. you know, I've been in the league a long time, 20 plus years. And so I've seen the hurry up edition of a team, like where, like, for example, right now announced that this coming season that someone's playing. I wouldn't recommend that. I think if you go back to when the league began and there was a requirement for season ticket member base to even get a team, there was a lot more preparation. I think those teams can lead to, or those situations can lead to greater business success. And then certainly I think in terms of all teams in the league, being able to plan for knowing, what's coming when you're talking about expansion and what that means for your own rosters, and being able to protect certain players. I think that's probably better for everyone on both sides, business and basketball, for a little bit more planning.
I was going to mention that you had been a coach long enough to be around for an expansion draft. So I appreciate you doing that for me in the answer.
Yeah. Now, they don't ask me my opinion on these things, but I just shared mine. Thanks for asking.
All right. The last one will go to Howard. Go ahead, Howard.
Hi, Cheryl. Greetings from my 95.
Howard,
Can you guys hear
I
Howard?
just wanted to know, it obviously is a scenario where a lot of your players. Oh, can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Still no?
No, you're good. You're good, Howard.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you hear me?
Yep.
Uh,
So you said there's a scenario
Maybe not.
where,
Oh, you got me now. Good. Okay. So sorry about that. I'm on the road.
okay.
So just a scenario where you have a lot of players, obviously with different times. It's not very different than the start of a WNBA season. And I'm wondering what you can do to bring about continuity on a roster when you have that type of turnaround time. If you have some examples of things you did, in WNBA preseason to help make that happen.
Yeah, I think what you're asking is without the, maybe a decent chunk of the roster, being around and then maybe adding them in. I think that's what you're asking. And I think that is something that I think from a WNBA standpoint that we've gotten used to, being able to, feature, okay, you think you're going to have this player, you feature them and you do things. And then maybe the next game, you're getting somebody back from an injury or whatever. So I think I think we have a really good handle on that and going right now we're building. We're not going to get so granular right now. We're just going to take this, as a process. And by the time I get to Sydney, then we really start to drill down as you get closer to your final team and you learn what your strengths are. And then the fact is that if this WNBA finals goes to 5 games, there's likely going to be players that are going to be on the team that aren't going to be there until after the start of the competition. And I think we're all knowledgeable enough about those players that, you kind of plug and play, so to speak.
All right. Thanks, folks. We will be along here with Angel shortly.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate your time.